Hey, and welcome to Jeremiah Johnson 84. In this video, we're looking at birch seeds to birch trees, part 2. And if you haven't seen part 1, look back in the video archive and you can check out how to find and store your birch tree seeds. In this video, we'll be looking at how to find seedlings in the wild, as well as how to grow your own birch trees from seed. So let's head out into the Ontario forests and see what we can find. So as we learned in part 1, the best time to go and find birch tree seeds ranges from late August into early spring. This means by the time the seeds crash to the floor and start to germinate, you're looking at around mid-May into early June. And again, in this video, we are specifically looking at the paper birch. And I say that because there are a lot of different birch species, and you want to make sure that when you're seeking out different seeds, you know exactly which type of species that you are working with. And if you're looking for seedlings in the wild, you might have a hard time doing so. And I say that because when you're looking in early spring, it's going to take a little while for the leaves to develop in order to fully identify the tree species. If you do set out to find some wild birch tree seedlings, start by looking for old growth birch trees or groves of birch trees, and then when you're on the forest floor, look for other clues like birch tree seeds and catkins on the forest floor that have either developed or fully developed into potential seedlings. Now again, we won't be 100% sure that these are birch tree seeds until maybe a few weeks from now, when the second set of leaves develop and then we see that these are potentially birch tree seedlings. And take a look out for other things germinating below the forest floors. I found this acorn germinating, and there's lots of maple trees and ash trees germinating in the spring months. Here in Ontario, the birch tree flowers are in full bloom, and when the spring winds come in blowing these flowers from the trees, that's a good start to help identifying locations for seedlings. So looking at the forest floor, it's definitely the best way to seek out these seedlings. Now if you're lucky enough, you might just find a full set of seedlings that have germinated from one of those catkins. I was lucky enough to find this group of seedlings directly surrounded by catlings and seeds everywhere. In fact, within the seedlings themselves, you can see that they've pushed up the actual seeds and the shells from the catkins that they were germinating from. Now if you look below the forest floor, you can see that there's a lot of things germinating and growing there. So it gives a whole new meaning to be sure to stay on the trails. And ironically, this batch of seedlings here was found growing directly beside the bike trail that I was on. So here you can see the catkin scales that the seedlings grew from, and they were found right in the seedlings themselves. So clearly they fell from the tree, and just the whole group of them grew together here. So remember, if you are out in the wild looking for catkins and different seedlings, just be sure to look out for poison ivy and other things in the forest floors, because there's a lot out there, and if you're unsure, just make sure to identify it first. Now here you want to make sure that you do have the right birch tree. Now the older birch trees as well as the older seedlings will have that double-toothed edge, yet the smaller seedlings have a more elongated leaf than the older trees. So try your luck out in early spring and see if you can find some birch tree seedlings. Otherwise, collect some birch tree seedlings in the late summer and winter seasons and grow your own birch tree seedlings right at home. If you are saving the birch tree seeds in late August over the winter, make sure that you do store them in a paper bag and ensure that they are fully dried out. This ensures that the seeds are able to be stored over long periods without accidentally germinating in the bag over the season. Now it can be quite easy to germinate these seeds as long as you follow a few crucial steps. Now the first thing I'm doing here is just sprinkling the seeds that I've been saving over the surface of the soil. You want to make sure not to bury these seeds too deep. You'll want to use some sand or the same type of soil here and just lightly sprinkle it over the seeds, just enough to cover them and keep them in place. And then you'll want to make sure that the soil does stay moist. Now you will need to cold stratify these as well, which means you'll want to emulate those winters by putting them in the fridge or a similar cold spot for about 2 weeks before germinating. That will signal that growth spurt in the seeds and allow them to pop up in the spring. Now you can do the same process outside. You just want to make sure that the seedlings are protected from animals and birds when the spring months come and those seeds germinate. You should see seedlings sprouting within 4 to 6 weeks. Just make sure again that you do keep that soil moist and keep them in a fairly lit, sunny area. So thanks for watching. I hope this video was helpful, and if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button and notifications so you're notified for all the new and upcoming videos on Jeremiah Johnson 84. Thanks for watching. See you next time.